Hello, friend,
Hello, friend.
and hello, friends listening.
Ooh,
You're,
yay.
this is the Lost Girls podcast, and I am one of your hosts, Neva.
And I am your other host, Maria.
We have a good episode today, I think. It is going to start with a disclaimer, which I was chosen to say.
Because Neva is much, much nicer than I am.
Maria is fired up today.
I am, it's
Um,
true.
so we are going to be discussing holidays and how a lot of Christian traditions are actually from old pagan and Celtic traditions. And we just wanted to let everyone know, we respect all religions and we are not shaming or looking down on anyone who believes anything. Like, that is totally your right. We just feel like, especially today, the day we're recording is actually St. Patrick's Day, and that is rife with complications.
Yes, it is.
Um, we felt like it was a good day to discuss this topic and just kind of bring to light some of these things because I didn't realize a lot of these until the past few years. And just more educating myself more and learning from other people is just, it's always a good thing.
Yeah,
Do you have anything you
absolutely.
want to add to that, or was that a good disclaimer?
I think that was a beautiful and wonderful disclaimer. Great job, Neva.
Thank you.
My disclaimer would
Okay.
have been like, we still like you, suck it up, bitches. So, so
And
that's,
there's Maria's.
yeah. So,
All
all
right.
right.
Well, given today is St. Patrick's Day, neither of us
Mhm.
are wearing green.
Nope.
Will not do that.
No.
Maria, you want to start us off and tell us about St. Patrick's Day?
Sure thing. I'd love to. It's actually really annoying for me not to wear green because there's so much green in my wardrobe. And I'm just like, oh, I have to make a conscious effort not to wear green today. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, but anyway, I
I
refuse.
I don't have that problem. Most of my stuff is black.
Like her kind heart,
Black like my heart.
black like my heart. Um, so as I think most people know, Saint Patrick is a Roman Catholic saint from Ireland, and it is now celebrated with copious amounts of drinking in bars and shamrocks and rainbows and leprechauns. And I'm like, that's great. That's a wonderful iteration of the holiday that I can get on board with. But originally, St. Patrick was made a saint for, air quotes, driving the snakes out of Ireland. Except, fun fact, there are no fucking indigenous snakes to Ireland. The snakes were a derogatory term for pagans or non-Christians. Um, and he uh was accused on multiple accounts of drowning pagans during their baptisms and actively like committing genocide against groups of non-Christian towns and villages and kind of like leading this charge through all of Ireland. And he was celebrated for it by the Roman Catholic Church, much like how the like the Templar Knights did, and when they were, spreading the word of God and bringing religion to the Middle East, it was like, no, you were just killing a bunch of people.
Oh, like the Crusades, you mean?
Like the Crusades, yeah.
Right.
Um,
So overall, not a nice man.
so not a nice man who killed a bunch of witches. And yeah, and I just don't like celebrating a holiday that is the, old good old fashioned genocide of pagans and witches. So
Right.
St. Patrick can shove his leprechaun stick right up his ass. And that's what I have to say about that. That's my hot take on St. Patty's.
But if you want to wear green and go get drunk
Oh,
and,
I'm all for it. Yeah.
you know,
Spread the rainbows around. We definitely need more rainbow representation. So,
for sure. For
yeah.
sure. Um, so something that I had mentioned earlier, and I think is probably a good time to also mention when, you know, paganism and that sort of way of life was kind of at its height, and Christianity was kind of a fledgling religion, shall we say.
Yes, a
Um,
little baby religion.
just a little baby religion. Like little baby Jesus.
It's just a baby.
Um, I think, if you were a Christian in that time, it would make sense that you would align your holidays with this other way of life that is more predominant because, we love to hate on people who believe things differently than we do. And
Yes.
so I think it totally makes sense that they would align the Christian holidays with the pagan holidays so that they could hopefully avoid detection or avoid discrimination. However, what has happened now is that has been flipped on its head,
Yeah, that
and
pendulum swung all the way in the other direction.
right, and Christianity is now at least in the United States, I would say the dominant religion. I don't think we could say that about the world. I don't think
No,
that'd be accurate. I
no.
think,
I mean, I'm sure we can look it up, but
yeah,
I don't know that it's
yeah.
Christianity. Yeah.
At least in the United States, Christianity is
Yeah.
definitely the dominant religion.
And
And
most of Europe.
yeah. And now, I think most Christians probably don't realize that their holidays have pagan roots.
Yeah.
At least I didn't. I had no idea until,
Yeah.
I started
Yeah.
educating myself.
Yeah, I didn't growing up. And because I was raised Roman Catholic, and we're dragging friggin' trees and evergreens inside and putting wreaths of meadowsweet on the door, and it's like, oh my God, this shit is so witchy. Like, and I
Yeah.
keep saying witchy, but like it's pagan in its roots,
hmm
and there
Oh
are
yeah.
a million things across a million different examples that I could go into. Um, but I tried to keep my hyperfixation research just around a couple um areas
Yeah.
because I really can
Well,
go off.
the the next holiday we have coming up that is a prime example is Easter.
Yeah.
And growing up, I never understood like why does Easter always move? Like every other holiday, uh Christmas is always December 25th. St. Patrick's Day is always March 17th. Uh every single other holiday, like exact same day. It's like, why does Easter move? This doesn't make any sense to me.
Right.
Turns out Easter is always the first Sunday after the first full moon that falls on or after the spring equinox.
So figure that one out.
You know, um, full moon, spring equinox, like the spring equinox is literally like the start of, everything, even though our Gregorian calendar starts in January,
Right.
like
The
we are,
pagan calendar starts with the vernal equinox. Like that's
yeah.
the resurrection of the sun. I mean,
So yeah,
yeah.
that's very and then let's see, Easter Bunny. Easter Bunny is very
Oh, oh,
symbolic.
yeah. So,
Like the saying breeds like a rabbit.
okay, just alone. Yeah. It's like,
Yeah,
oh, I mean, first of all, we bred rabbits growing up, so I'm very
so
familiar,
did I.
yes, about how rabbits breed, and it's a lot, and they start in the spring. Um,
Yep. Yep.
but I think yeah, Easter is closely aligned with the pagan holiday of Ostara, or
hmm
Ostera, however you want to say it. But so many of the symbols of Easter come directly from offerings to goddesses of spring from pagan lore. So the eggs represent fertility and rebirth and like the cyclical nature of the world. Um, and coloring the eggs that was like an offering to the goddesses of spring. They would, intricately decorate and color eggs and then leave them as offerings.
I
Um,
had no idea. I didn't know that. That's really cool.
yeah.
I'm learning things too.
Hell yeah. And also like the whole idea of Easter egg hunts, like hiding the eggs was like the idea that, oh, the sun, as in the celestial body that warms us, the sun, yeah, um, was hidden and is now reborn. And so the eggs had to be hidden to be found. So I know. So the idea of Easter egg hunts is innately pagan because and it's like, okay, whether you want to call that worship to the celestial body star that is the sun, or for your own religion, the Son of God, Jesus Christ, I don't know that it matters because the offerings are happening regardless. Um,
Yep.
so I find it so interesting that it's like, man, I'm just watching all these little Easter egg hunts happen and all these kids just offering up stuff to the gods and goddesses of spring. And I'm like, oh, hell yeah, I can totally get on board with this. Um, I just think,
Did you have Easter egg hunts as a kid?
oh God, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
my family was, like I said, super Roman Catholic, and
Yeah.
my mom's mom, she would like, you know, make this like intricate Easter egg hunt for us every year, and we would each have like golden eggs that had our names on them that we had to find that usually had money in them.
Ooh, that's cool.
Yeah, it wasn't a lot. It was like $1.50 in quarters, but
Yeah,
or
but in 1990,
yeah, right?
that's
I
like
was
$5 today.
totally. I was like, I'm gonna clean house at the school store. Um, I'm gonna get all the Lisa Frank folders and erasers.
Yes.
Yes. Um, yeah, so just the idea of eggs and then rabbits, I think, are very like symbolic of fertility, like you were saying. Like, yeah, they
Mhm.
breed like rabbits, so you fuck like rabbits. Like, yeah, those were offerings. There are Ostera and Alwyn, which are spring gods and goddesses. They represent like the male and female representation of the spring. They each had a um Ostara had a black and white hair, and Alwyn had one as white as clovers. So they were like representations of fertility and like, hey, it's the spring, time to get it on and make new
Hmm.
life. Um, but even baskets, like even Easter baskets have um like a background.
Tell me about Easter baskets.
Okay, so as long as also with like, the different gods and goddesses of spring, the Nordic um deities, Freya and Frigg, were honored during the spring equinox. And in order to honor them, villagers would bring offerings to their temples in baskets that they wove to show their dedication to craft and rebirth. And they would normally place things in there like eggs and dead rabbits and meat, and things that they had kept throughout the spring in order to have like a bountiful life and harvest, starting in the spring throughout the summer. So like even the baskets were represent were, are representing pagan traditions going
Yeah.
back to, Nordic times. So it's like it's I think, the comment you made about, yeah, when when Christianity was a fledgling, you know, little old religion, um
Hmm.
it didn't seem so far-fetched to align with so many of these things. And I don't know that it matters for people celebrating, those religions today,
Yeah.
but I still think it's important to know where it came from. And, it's entirely possible that these symbols of religions came from something even before that just wasn't recorded.
Oh, 100%. 100. I mean, that would only make sense, honestly.
Yeah,
I mean, when even before recorded history, people are like, oh, the sun,
right.
oh, the moon, oh, things move in these ways,
Yeah. Yeah, like women were tracking their cycles by the moon long before anyone caught on to any sort of like astrological, before was it like Galileo could,
Right.
say that like, no, we're not the center of the universe. We were still a heliocentric, before we
Yeah.
became a heliocentric society.
Yeah.
It's like, no, Earth is at the middle and we just, pray that the sun and the moon give us what we need.
Yeah.
But
Well, and like when there would be solar and lunar eclipses, they people would like freak out because that's I mean, if you don't know what's going on, that would be scary as hell.
right?
Like all of a sudden the sun is just like blocked.
Like you're just used to it looking a certain way every day.
Yeah.
And then one day it's like, ah, no, I'm just gonna play peekaboo with the sun for 4 minutes.
I'm gonna peace out for a couple hours.
Yeah. Hope that's cool. Bye.
Bye. I was gonna say something. I don't remember. I'll think of it later. Oh, I
Okay.
remember.
Yeah.
Um, so it is also interesting, I think, that especially things like Christmas and Easter, which are like very high Christian holidays, if we're honest, the birth and the death of Jesus, um, they're celebrated by people who are not Christian at all.
Hmm.
You know, um, we would have Easter egg hunts with my cousins, and I don't think they ever went to church,
Yeah.
but it's just like part of our societal like brain or whatever.
Hmm.
It's just these are what we celebrate.
Yeah. And I think it's almost, I don't say like endearing, but I think it's nice that these things still happen
Yeah.
regardless of the religion you believe in. Which is why I think
Yeah.
we had to make the disclaimer, because it's like we're not just shitting all over Christianity. Like that's not the
Right.
goal.
Yeah.
Except for St. Patrick, he can stick it. But um um it's more like, recognizing that these rituals, for lack of a better word, come from a place of honoring the natural cycles of the earth. And I think no matter what you call it or how it happens, it's still beautiful that it happens.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I love it. Yep, agreed.
Um, do you have any thoughts about Yule, Christmas, winter solstice?
Um, I mean,
Because it is like Easter and Christmas are the two
yeah.
biggies.
Well, and what I think is most, I guess, if we'll talk about Yule, how many religious holidays fall from like November through December?
It was
Just
something
like
ridiculous, like 19.
like
Right.
all of them have something,
Yeah.
you know? Um, so I almost feel like that is really telling in that as a species, there's something about the winter equinox, that or is that what it's called? The winter equinox?
No, it's the winter solstice.
Winter solstice,
It's
right?
a
Sorry.
solstice. It's fine.
Okay. Um,
It's an
um,
equinox in the fall.
right, yeah. That when you have the least amount of sunlight and the
Right.
most amount of darkness, there's something about that. I feel like that just speaks to a deeper part of ourselves, and c clearly because we have so many religious holidays that fall on or around or because of that specific moment in our Gregorian calendar,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. It is particularly nuts. Um, how many modern religious holidays fall during that time. Um, but yeah, I mean, even just focusing on Yule as a
Hmm.
pagan holiday,
Hmm.
which, we celebrate Yule on winter solstice in our house. And then we also celebrate Christmas because, you know, we grew up and it's like, it's more of a like a societal holiday. Like we
Yeah.
have, all of like our kids have, and I, growing up, had plenty of Jewish friends that also celebrated Christmas after they celebrated Hanukkah. Um, and it's kind of awesome.
I love
So
that.
I love that it's just like, no, this is just going to be the holiday for everybody, like Festivus. Um, a holiday for the rest of us. But
Funny
um,
fun fact, Festivus is my sister's birthday.
that's awesome. Does she air her grievances on her birthday?
I think she airs her grievances every day.
That's awesome. Love it. Go, Neva sister.
Go Neva
Um,
sister. Yeah.
yeah. But one of the major ideas of the Christian idea of Christmas is the the symbolism of Jesus being born to the Virgin Mary. And it's like he was, you know, Gabriel came and was like, "Girl, you pregnant?" And she was like, "Oh, damn." And there's just some really good Old Testament synopsis we got going on, by the way.
This is better than Sunday school.
Right? I know.
Girl, you pregnant? Oh,
Girl, you're
damn.
pregnant? Oh, damn. I better marry this carpenter I found along the way, even though I'm 14. So yeah, so there's the idea that the big symbolic gestures of Christmas are Jesus was born to a Virgin Mary, um, and then in Easter, 33 years later, he was killed and then resurrected 3 days later. So, fun fact, it is not the first virgin birth in a religion in the history of time.
What?
What? Oh my God, flashing lights, neon, bow, 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 bow.
Brain exploding.
Brain exploding emoji. Um, the most common one was in Egyptian, in the Egyptian deity lore, Horus was born to the virgin Isis, and he was, he was conceived with a flash of lightning. And I'm like, oh, that's badass, first of all.
That's a hell of an orgasm.
That's yeah, I mean, we've all had those. Like, it felt like lightning. Well, I'm pregnant now, so yeah, maybe she just confused it with a really good orgasm. But Neva is keeled over laughing. Yeah, we can't stop giggling. Um, so yeah, so Isis was apparently she still had her V card when she got pregnant with Horus, and so he was born of a virgin mother. She also rescued her husband, Osiris, who was chopped up and thrown into the Nile, and she collected all of the pieces and put him back together, and thus he was resurrected. Um, and
That's
it's like,
badass.
yeah, super badass. Just bitches getting shit done all over the place in history, let me tell you. Um, but in all different lores, and this is hilarious, Adonis, Hermes, and Dionysus in Greek lore were all conceived of virgin births and then later resurrected. And then Mithra and Krishna in Babylonian lore, which I think eventually became Indian, or the lower Asian continents, were
Mm.
also conceived of virgin births and then later resurrected. And Krishna was actually crucified. That's how they died. So it's like, you can't say that just for the last 2,000 years, this is new material. Christianity is fan fiction on pagan lore.
Okay, I am here for that headcanon. I'm here for this headcanon.
Yeah. So, as you can tell, I did a bit of research because, again, hyperfixation. Um,
There's something about Egyptian mythology, and one of these days I'm going to have the time and energy to hyperfixate on it. I
mm,
just find it really extremely fascinating.
I find it wildly fascinating. I have an altar to Isis in my house. She's like one of my deities,
Yeah.
and she's such a bad bitch, and I love her. Yeah. And when I did my like 23andMe, because I was convinced there was some kind of like, because I have red hair, so I was like, there's got to be Scottish or what? No, there's nothing, but there was Egyptian.
Nice.
And I was like, yeah, that 2% Egyptian, killing it.
Um, at the Nelson Atkins Museum of Art in Kansas City, there is a enormous, like 10-foot tall replication of this Mesopotamian thing. And I don't know what it is about it. There's something about it that mesmerizes me and feels extremely familiar. And I'm just like, I can't wait to figure out what that's about.
That's awesome.
Like I will just like sit there and be like, why do I know? Like I realize like I've looked at it before with these eyeballs, but it feels like beyond that, you know?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. When we eventually do our episode on past lives, I
Yes.
think we're gonna have a lot to talk about. That's gonna need to be like a two-parter for sure.
Yeah. Anyway, that just popped up into my brain
Yeah. Oh,
because that's how we roll.
that is how we roll. It's just info dump and hyperfixating all over the place. Yeah.
Uh, Side note, I feel like scholars have determined Jesus was not born in the winter.
No, I think the like consensus is that he was born sometime in the spring.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Like
it's like just
spring, summer.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's like just let the man have his birthday. Like you've been forcing him to celebrate his birthday at a different time all year.
But, if you want to celebrate something like that, you're going to align it with whatever is already happening and what is already popular so that you're not discriminated against.
Right. It is interesting to me that they chose the winter solstice for that and not the summer solstice. If his
Yeah.
if his actual birth day of birth was the spring or summer, like that's the naturally closest pagan
Hmm.
event, but and it's definitely a more like male energy dominated holiday because it's all about like worshiping the sun and blah 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 blah. But it seems pointed that they chose the winter solstice because it's like, yeah, there were so many other celebrations happening. It
Yeah.
wouldn't be weird to have bonfires and drag trees inside and give each other gifts and
Yep.
do all of the things that, that entails. Um even even the idea of like fish being a symbol of Jesus, I was like a co-opted thing.
Do you want to
Um
talk about that?
Oh God, I can. It's so like I have there's so much in here. And I'm like,
What's our time at?
we're just about almost at half an hour. So
Okay.
uh,
Well, maybe we can save that for another time.
we'll save that for another time, yeah.
I think St. Patrick's and Easter and Christmas plus our tangents is probably.
Yeah, that's probably enough info dumping on our listeners, all 10 of you. We thank you very much. I've been tracking
Yes.
our Spotify stats and I'm like, another download. I, I love you.
I was I've been tracking like our rates, like people who
Yeah,
leave ratings stars, and I'm like, we have fun. Oh my
we may only have 3 ratings, but they're all 5 stars, baby.
gosh.
So Neva, what is bringing you joy this week?
Do you want to do a card pull first, or
Oh,
do we?
yeah, no, we should do a card pull first. I'm like all out
Okay.
of I'm so geared up about my life.
Maria is amped up today.
I am. I am.
So I am pulling a card from, it's called the Unofficial Shitty Tarot. If you are familiar with Schitt's Creek, um, every card has some sort of image from that TV show, which is one of my favorite shows. This was a deck that I backed on Kickstarter, which if you want to back an awesome deck on Kickstarter, I have one launching on Thursday.
Bow, 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 bow. It's gonna be awesome.
Thursday, March 21st, 2024, in case you're listening to this in the future.
Yes.
All
Go buy
right.
Neva's deck. It's amazing.
As of this morning, I had 41 followers on the
Yay!
Kickstarter. So, and I got to talk to some cool witchy people yesterday. Like I just sort of like gauged their vibe to see if they might be interested.
Yeah.
But I was like, Oh, look, you have the death card tattooed on your arm. I bet you might like this Oracle deck.
Hey, that's
You
awesome.
know, that's like, so then I was like, well, and I'm like, no one, looking at me, no one would be able to tell, I don't think. I'm very inconspicuous. I don't have any obvious. I mean, I guess I have I haven't, I was wearing a necklace that had like a triple moon and a pentacle and a tree of life. So,
Should I make you
um,
a shirt that says, I'm a
yeah,
witch, ask me about it?
yes. Let's just make t-shirts. That can,
We're gonna make t-shirts. That's gonna be our
yep.
first podcast t-shirt.
I'm a witch. Ask me
Ask me
about it.
about it.
All right, so I got the Page of Swords,
Ooh, yes, Alexis.
and it is Alexis. It's a picture of Alexis. If you're familiar with the show, I think she's going to the community college to like enroll in community college classes. Which I love for the Page of Swords because pages are all about like starting new things and taking that first step into new worlds and intellectual things. And so yeah, I love that for us. I love this journey for us.
I love that journey for you. I adore Alexis. I think she's the most resilient, underrated character on that show.
Yeah. It's one of my favorite shows. It's like, and I love how like the first season you're like, wow, these people suck.
Oh yeah. Oh
Like
my
they
God.
are they are just unpleasant people. But then
Yeah.
they grow and then you have the why not the label
Oh, that. Oh, yes.
and the song, the serenade song and
Oh yeah. David and Patrick are like freaking couple goals.
love them so
Oh, I love
much.
them so much. Yeah.
So Schitt's Creek, if you want to sponsor us.
Yeah. We're here for you. I know you're not on the air anymore, but we love you so much. Or
Oh, shit.
anyone in the Levy family will take it.
Yes.
We love you too.
Maria, what's bringing you joy today in 100 characters or less, or 150 characters or less?
Okay. Two things.
Okay.
I'm going to keep it short, I promise. Nick played at our friend's speakeasy last night,
Fun.
guitar and sang, and he did really well, and everybody gave him lots of compliments, and it made me really, really happy for him because he needs the confidence boost sometimes to be reminded that he's actually quite talented. Um, and also the fact that this week I get to support one of my besties and back her Oracle deck on Kickstarter. That's bringing me a lot of joy this week. Like
Yay.
I have an alarm set on my phone.
I
And
love that.
yeah,
Oh my gosh. I
because
love you.
I love you. I don't know that anything brings me more joy than supporting the people that I love in my life and helping them realize their dreams. So those are two things that very much coincide and bring me joy.
I'm gonna cry.
It's okay, we're all fine.
I just love you so much.
I love you guys. Like a bunch of drunk bitches on here. Neva, what's bringing you joy this week?
Ah, okay. Um, Yesterday I went to an art show where all of the vendors had to be somewhere on the LGBTQ plus spectrum, and it brought me such joy to see so much queer joy and to just like walk around to the other vendors and be my weird, overly enthusiastic self with their weird, overly enthusiastic selves and just be like, your stuff is so cool. No, your stuff is so cool. Oh my God.
Yay! I love that
And
so much.
to just oh, it just yeah. My heart wanted to explode from so much happiness.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's
Yep.
always great when the gays get together.
Such a good time.
It's such a good time.
Such a good time.
Okay, well, thank you everyone for listening. I hope you enjoyed our running commentary today. And
Yes. Follow us on the social meds and subscribe. Subscribe on your listening places
yes,
and leave us the stars.
yeah,
And and you can see our beautiful faces as well as hear our beautiful words if you subscribe on Patreon.
that's true. We did make our episodes from 2 weeks ago about the tarot and oracle decks free, so anyone can go on our Patreon and watch those videos because the decks that was really visual and just to give you a taste of what we look like and the kind of shenanigans you can see. Um,
You know, just a
but
little stimming.
yeah, just so much stimming. Um, it's like rock back and forth. It's so hard to keep my mic technique, consistent.
It's whatever.
Yeah. But yeah, so you can subscribe and see us on Patreon or like, rate, follow. We're on Spotify and Apple Music, and we have our Buzzsprout page. And I'm working on getting us on YouTube as well.
Whoop
Uh,
whoop.
whoop whoop. So yeah, thanks for
Yeah.
listening.
If you're listening, we love you.
We do.
Right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.